and welcome to the Cancer subscribers, because this is your Cancer August 2020 tarot reading. Well, it's great to see you back again, and of course I've seen some of you in personal readings over the last month, haven't I? And if you would like to have a one-on-one personal psychic reading with me, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, next month's reading will be published on Wednesday, the 12th of August at 2 p.m. New York time. Do you know, a lot of people ask me, what is this artwork that's behind me? So why don't we have a quick look at it like this? Anyway, let's get on with your Cancer August 2020 tarot reading and pull the cards and see what there is in store for you tarot lovers of Cancer, the most receptive of signs. Well, you want to come, I think, so you are spiritual leaders. Spiritual leaders. Major Arcana is what I see there, and I'll get to that in just a moment. There's the Three of Discs. Here is the Ten of Swords. Something about to begin for you, I think. Is the Five of Discs. Yes, definitely something beginning again for you, but we shall see in just a moment. And there's the Six of Discs. My word, what a fascinating spread. Let's see what it has to say. I'll bring the camera around. You can have a good close look at these cards while I do the reading for you. Here we go. I might look at this card first, I think, and let's have a look at it. What is it called? Taking the Hierophant off the pedestal. Well, it's Major Arcana number 5. And I suppose, well, the name of the Hierophant has been changed to Spiritual Leaders. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, because rather than one male authority, which is the Hierophant, that authority figure that is the enforcer of things to do with morality, the title and picture show you that spiritual leaders come in a whole lot of different forms, and you don't need to limit yourself to one teacher. Now, this card, I think, shows 3 women of different races. This is, of course, only a sampling, I guess, but it does reflect the variations and the diversity in our world. The fire at the bottom of the picture, to me, represents the basic kundalini, or life force, which rises up the spine, opening the various chakras. The woman of color squatting on the ground represents the lower chakras and the spiritual traditions such as African shamanism that teach you how to work with that energy. Her physical position reflects the fact that she is close to the earth. She honors the earth and all its inhabitants as part of the sacred. Teachings concerned with these chakras also include forms of tantra that show you how to work with sexual energy, for example. Now, the woman over on the left-hand side here is, it seems to me, Native American, and she represents the middle chakras. She is extending a candle to others, which fits with the fact that the middle chakras are more involved with interpersonal relationships and communication. This figure represents the spiritual teachings that refer to the right speech, right action, and right relationship. Now, the third figure may be associated with particular religious figures such as the Virgin Mary, or Mary Magdalene in the Christian tradition, or Kuan Yin in the Buddhist, Parvati, the wife of Shiva in Hinduism, or Khadija, the wife of Muhammad, who is said to be the mother of all believers. Now, all of those women are associated with the highest forms of love and compassion, and I think she represents the upper chakras and those teachings that tell you about visions, guidance, and dissolving into the light. Now, although I use the words higher and lower, Please understand that these are not value judgments, and I think that part of the message of this card for you is that all are part of the whole, and that cutting off or repressing any part leaves you incomplete. Now, I think that what's going to be happening for you at this time is that you'll be very gifted at imparting information and inspiring others. I think you may well be quite committed to the concept of community. That is, in the sense of having relationship with other people. I think you might find that you are very attracted to sounds and to music. You'll be good at listening and speaking, and you'll want to make your ideas tangible and usable. There will also be within you, I think, a deep desire to be challenged by new experiences. I think what we have here is that there is a desire also for learning and teaching, and it seems to me that there may well also be issues around family that need to be integrated. You may well have an interest in counseling or consulting, or even in the creative arts. But I have this thought in mind, and it is, I honor the sacred within me. I am inspired by learning and teaching. I am creative and productive in my family and professional life. Now, this Ten of Swords has come up, but I want to say something about the Ten of Swords. These cards here are earth. Now, earth, swords is air. Earth and air are enemies and weaken each other. Now, there are 3 earth cards here, all touching upon this air card. So, this energy here is being weakened by those. So this is something which I don't think is... I think it's something that's in the back of your mind, but which may not be necessarily taking full top of mind, as it were. And it's called learning the story, it seems. Well, in this painting, the layers of the canyon reflect the layers of your story and how deep it is. At the bottom is a core pattern that you are organized around. It is illuminated here by the light of awareness. Now, these ascending birds, to me, are a symbol of leaving that pattern. The fact that they rise in a spiral reminds you that your work on your patterns is something you do again and again. Now, it's easy to get discouraged by this and forget that you are indeed moving forward. It helps to remember that this may be a pattern you've been living out, maybe for many lives, and that changing the pattern is a major part of your life's work. It's as if each time you identify with the story, you are sucked back down into like an energy vortex, and each time you put away that story, you rise to a higher and freer perspective. Freedom is getting out of the canyon, out of the ruts of the mind that have obstructed the openness of your true nature. Now, the number 10 is about the beginning of a new pattern. The 10 of Swords is about mental patterns, although you can also have feelings associated with it as well, because thoughts create feelings, and feelings themselves, generally, you then start to think about them. So you get this circle going around and around. A feeling comes into focus within a particular context that gives it meaning. Thoughts, feelings, and self-images are the warp and woof of mental patterns. And as if to state why there is perhaps some dejectedness within you perhaps at the moment, it's because it's the sun ruling the 3rd Deccan of Gemini. And here the sun in Gemini is difficult as Gemini disperses the energy of the sun and it disperses your focus. Now, the focus is entirely on the intellect here, and it's unstable because these tens can be very unstable. So I think that there is here for you also the need to recognize that you can't change the world. None of us can change the world. All we can do is make our way through the world and maximize the position that we have from time to time. What is important is knowing that we can't change the world, How is it that we look at the world? Because there is nothing either good nor bad than thinking makes it so. That's what Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet. Act 2, Scene 2. What are your greatest fears? What would total destruction of your life look like? You can't conceive of it. But once you have recognized in what areas your fears lie, formulate your own specific affirmations using positive terms, such as, I invite the positive into my life and welcome it wholeheartedly. Now, I'll tell you that in relation to this energy here, there is an angel called Kelley, and I'm sure it's in the book of Psalms in the Old Testament, Psalm 35, verse 34, which says, Take up my cause, O Lord, my God, as you are beneficent, and let them not rejoice over me. Now, invoke the energy of that for assistance in facing any adversity. The auspicious time to do that, incidentally, is between 5:40 a.m. and 6 a.m., but it will allow knowledge of the truth to surface and innocence to triumph, and abundance and fruitfulness will fill your being. And there is also associated with that a great power of procreation. Let's have a look at another card which can sometimes be seen as difficult. The reason why I want to look at this is because this is where the future is heading, and they are tremendous. Here we have discs, 5 of discs, releasing stuck energy. Now, isn't this an interesting painting? Because in the image, 5 women participate in what looks like a ritual. They place the symbols of regeneration on an earthen altar and dance around them, releasing the stuck energy, which then rises as a bird. Now, the traditional meaning of this card revolves around anxiety and worry about some material aspect of life, whether it's livelihood or health or housing or something else. It indicates frustrations and setbacks in one or more of these areas. You've had a good look at that. Now, what we can say here is that you take the perspective that this suggests a block in the flow of life-supporting energy, and see this card here, this energy, as an invitation to release any such blocks. Now, there are a number of symbols in the image supporting breaking through stagnation and embracing change, you know. There is, of course, the animal symbol for this card, which is the snake, which you can see down here, and that represents transformation and regeneration. Here the snake appears in a spiral, which is the geometric pattern that illustrates change and unfoldment. One of the reasons the snake is a symbol for transformation is because it repeatedly sheds its skin, outgrowing its former restrictions. Now, in the picture, the snake lies on top of a 5-pointed flower. I might have a quicker look at that. Yeah, so here it is, so you can see it. This snake is sitting on top of a 5-pointed flower, and this is unfurling in a spiral pattern as new petals emerge from its center. This is a pattern of growth and regeneration found throughout the plant kingdom and in many seashells. It's the Fibonacci sequence for those who are mathematically minded. Now, overlapping the flower is a 5-pointed star, its form based on a golden spiral. All of these symbols are associated with transformation. This card, I think, is really inviting you to look at where the energy in your life is stuck and what you can do to clear it. This may involve rooting out limiting beliefs, expressing feelings, envisioning new possibilities, or taking practical action. You see, my concern is that there has been a worry which has been going on for some time and that you haven't dealt with it. You might be thinking to yourself, am I getting myself into a situation I might not be able to get out of? Will events overwhelm me? Now, worry is about past and future, neither of which you can do anything about. And if this was your last day on earth, would you be using your time to worry about those things? Is there something which poses a threat to your overall security? There might be an unexpected expense or job worries, maybe disruption in your family life. But understand that worry, first of all, does nothing and can sometimes prevent you from doing something which actually makes things work. Success is the next card in this suit, and this is what you have here. So this is the way the energy is flowing. And before I get to your success, which is where the energy is flowing, it's coming from, and it's founded in this, which the deck person has called integrated work. And gee, this is an interesting sort of a picture here. Well, in this painting, a woman performs a planting ritual. She makes space for frogs, snails, and other creatures, including them in the garden environment. Now, this thing here, the thing you see in here, this to me looks like a frog. And the presence of the frog, I think, is especially meaningful to me here. Because as an amphibian, the frog is at home both on land and in water. Now, the person who embodies frog energy is at home both in the more watery element of the inner life and the earth element of work in the world. Such a person can live in both worlds without having to leave either behind. I think this is inviting you to look at how you integrate your emotional and physical needs into your work life. It is a time to ask, how can I bring the water element, that is my inner life, onto land, work? How can I bring more authenticity into my life at work and create a more supportive environment for myself and for others? This is really an auspicious beginning. Yeah, when I look at this card, I have these thoughts which come to mind. The first is the astrology, which is Mars in the second decan of Capricorn. Mars, of course, is about energy, assertion, and vitality, and Capricorn is about ambition, practicality, making things tangible. Now, in ordinary astrology, Mars is also exalted in Capricorn, and so the energy of Mars is extremely constructive in this scenario, in Capricorn, rather than its very often destructive self. And Capricorn's materialism benefits from the energy and activity of Mars, so the card signifies that investing time and energy in work, however broadly you want to define that, will turn out favorably. I think it's time for reward for your hard work and dedication. Your skills and knowledge are going to move you all forward. I really do see in this good outcomes for career, business projects, and practical matters in generally. Life is going to appear to be in balance. This is going to be done away with. And you'll have a great ability to stick with things and to overcome obstacles and live with the wind in your spinnaker. In what areas do you still hold yourself back, do you think? In which areas could you be giving more of your energies? Find out and remain aware of what you want to set your full energies towards achieving. And have this thought in mind always: I am now ready to give and receive everything. Now that takes us to this card here, the Six of Discs. Now called the Web of Life in this. Yeah, well, here's a spider's web. Well, actually, the Navajo Indians in North America, indigenous tribe, I think, said that the whole of the world was spun by grandmother spider, and that there is a web with everything. Of course, there is the situation where everything and everybody is connected. You are part of the universe. We're not separate from anything. Here we have the moon ruling the second decan of Taurus. Now the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a good sign. But the moon's transient nature means that success that comes with, I think, this card can be short-lived. In fact, well, one has a success. Success is not a continuum. One has a success here, and it's like a fly going in. You get a success. You have another success. You capture it. So the moon in Taurus, well, the moon likes nurturing and comfort, and the Taurus likes the material things. So they're well suited for bringing about material success, I think. And this is about success and generosity both ways, paying it forward. I think receiving something of a financial boost is going to be here. For people who may be looking for a grant or a scholarship, I think that that is on the cards, as it were. And I think that for people who are reliant on applications to the welfare system, that they're going to come through. I'm getting this feeling of increasing financial prosperity building up, possibly the opportunity to be involved in a profitable adventure, a reminder for you to remember the successes in your life and to build on those. Very often we say that, well, I want to get over here, but over here is this mountaintop, and so I've got to climb all the way up. But you forget your successes. You're already standing on top of a mountain. It's very often a case of going downhill or just across. So sometimes you build up obstacles in your own mind. But I do think that there will be a desire for success with you in this period. And the spiritual advice is to be willing to take risk, to be committed, to trust your intuition. Be open to your success. Success enriches all levels of your being. And ask yourself, what does success mean for you at the moment? Visualize as precisely as possible what your success looks like. And say to yourself, my self-acceptance and self-confidence are the keys to real success. Well, all in all, a really good spread for you, Cancer. Well done. And that's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, the month of August in 2020 for you, and it looks like it's going to be a great month. And I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. It's my great pleasure to provide these readings to you, you know. Actually, if you do want to have a personal reading, check out the information that's in the description box below and you can see how easy it is. But in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, always remember this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.